What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Eddy Live Show, episode number 181. I'm here with my first guest from my hometown. I'm super happy to have him here, Patrick Florencio, my man, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Man, I was pretty stoked that you were coming. Were coming to Taiwan.
Yeah, I mean, I've been wanting to come. I think the first time I came here was a super short trip, so I've been wanting to come back, and thanks, man.
Dude, I appreciate it, man. So, dude, how's life? How's it? You've been in the Philippines for how long, man?
Yeah, so I've been living in the Philippines for the past 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so doing the same thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
Went there to open up a restaurant with my wife.
Okay.
And so it's just been a journey, and it's been great.
Okay, beautiful.
Good, yeah.
So 6 years.
Yeah.
Were there anything different than kind of what you thought opening a restaurant? I mean, that's kind of a lot of people. They think, hey, my dream, open a restaurant.
Yeah.
So how is it different than what you thought?
I've always wanted to do my own business. My wife and I think ever since we met, we're sort of working in the corporate world, and
Gotcha.
Always wanted to do our own business.
Yep.
Never really thought it'd be a restaurant.
Okay.
Right? But then when the opportunity came, it made sense. I knew it was going to be a lot of work. Going to business school and all that, you always hear how retail and restaurant, those are very difficult businesses to be in, and success rates are not that high.
First year or whatever, most of them close. And
exactly. So, knew it was going to be a lot of work. So that side of things, I was sort of expecting, but I didn't realize how fun it would be.
Sorry, I'm just checking the audio. All good.
No worries.
Good. No, we're good.
I didn't realize how fun it would be. Just working with a team, and we're in a tourist destination, so
which is great. Yeah,
I think that also gives it a different element. But meeting people and just the whole customer experience. I wasn't really expecting, or I didn't really know what that was going to be like. I never used to work in a restaurant before, so I've never had that experience before.
So you were thinking you're just going to hide in the kitchen, send the food out, and then basically be like, you don't have to talk, right? That's hilarious. Yeah. Well, same for sure. Yeah. Most people, when I'm doing the podcast and when I'm doing this, they don't really like. I always tell them how I was super duper like introverted growing up, super quiet, super shy. And then coming out here, you have to kind of push yourself to kind of get out and do something, right?
Yeah.
And talking is it's a weird skill, right? It's a hard thing to teach, but it's important, right? Communication. Yeah.
Communication. For sure.
So with your team, you have to do it, right? Communication. Obviously with your wife, with your family, with customers. Yeah. So I think it's one of the most important and undervalued things.
Yeah. For sure.
Cool, brother.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what brought you to Taiwan this time?
My wife and I love traveling.
Okay.
And we love food. That's why we sort of got into the business. We love, all different kinds of food. When we were living in Singapore, we were eating out all the time, just trying different restaurants.
Sure.
And so we know Taiwan always had great food.
Okay. Yeah.
Being in the Philippines, it's a quick flight.
Yeah, for sure. How long? It's like 4 or 5 hours? Or?
No, it's only 2.5.
Oh, really? Oh,
2 hours.
Never even been.
2 hours, yeah. Okay. And the place where we live, called Boracay, there is a newly opened flight direct from Boracay to Taipei.
Okay.
So we didn't have to. Usually, when we travel, we have to go to Manila first.
Okay.
And then from Manila, we jump off somewhere else. So we were just wanting to try it. Super convenient. It was fairly affordable. So and then obviously keep going. Yeah, I just wanted to visit you. Also check out the restaurant.
Yes, sure.
See how all that's going, and
I think checking out other restaurants is it's like homework. It's like one of the biggest things, right?
Yeah.
Whenever I travel, that's the first thing we do. Is like we travel also based on like food. Like we love food. So we definitely want to come and check you. Your food looks so good, man. I love the pictures look like the presentation. That's always one thing we're always struggling with, and I mean, where do you get your ideas for that? Because when we look at your food, the pictures look fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
I can't take credit.
Okay.
So my wife over there, she's the ideas person, right?
Okay.
So when it comes to the concept, she's more of the foodie than I am.
Okay.
and so she usually has the ideas.
Okay.
We're not chefs, so we work with we work with chefs to help us open and develop the menu.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, fortunately we've been we've been able to work with good chefs.
That's important.
That
Okay.
We're able to sort of take our ideas and then translate them to a menu item.
Okay.
And they've understood the side where they have to hand it over to our team. And so when it came to the plating,
Okay.
they did it in a way where
That makes sense. Okay.
it was repeatable.
Okay.
So it really came from the chefs that we worked with.
That's really cool.
Yeah, of course we have inputs on.
It's your place still, of course.
Shreya's got a lot of inputs on, like, say, colors and textures and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's sort of just a collaborative effort.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's important because, like, for example, my place, Mexican food.
Yeah.
When you Google images, it's just like everything's just slopped everywhere, right? It's just like beans are slopped on a plate, rice is slopped on a plate.
Yeah.
Everything just looks like a mess. And when you're trying to introduce a food, you can't really do that, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard because you're like, okay, you got to do your portions. And then you have like your ice cream measuring scoop thing.
Yeah.
And then when you don't train, the staff properly, they'll take that and they'll just like stuff it in there, and it's like an ice cream scoop of rice. And you're like, wait a minute, that's. I remember at our first restaurant, our customers were like, I love your mashed potatoes.
Right.
Your red mashed potatoes are my favorite thing. And I'm like, my red mashed potatoes? It was the rice.
It was the rice.
But it was just jammed. It was just jammed into the ice cream scoop, right?
Right.
And I was like, oh, mashed potatoes. Like, damn, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother.
I know how it is. I know how it is. And yeah, it's I guess to answer your other question too, one thing I didn't really expect in the business is the how often you just have to remind, because what we're trying to go for is consistency.
Oh, that's huge,
right?
Of
So,
course. Yeah.
If we see a review or someone posts a picture and the plating's different, then we try to adjust it right away with the team. Be like, hey, look, this is the original plating. Let's just try to stick to that. So, I think consistency and trying to just remind the team constantly is just part of the game. Yeah.
Let's try this first wing here, and then we'll keep going. Yeah. So we're just gonna start from here. It's just a simple buffalo, man. So we'll just grab a buffalo wing. We'll just chew on that, and we'll just keep going. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm really curious. So you can go to the drum or the wing, whatever you want. Bro.
Okay, I'll go with
do whatever you want to do, man. The young buck over. You got to get that protein in there. Yeah. So while you munch on that, like worldwide, one of the problems is it's hard to find staff, right? Obviously in the West, with COVID and stuff, it's made things worse, right? In Taiwan, it didn't used to be like that, but it's definitely becoming like that. Yeah. And so we have a lot of workers from outside coming in, like foreigners coming in here working. It's a difficult thing. So with Indonesia and Philippines are kind of the two more closest countries where people come for work, right? Yeah. And so being in the Philippines, is that a problem or not really? I'm super curious about that.
That's a good question. Well, to give it some context, my wife and I, before the restaurant business, we were actually recruiters and HR practitioners. So I guess that was sort of what we were always had a good understanding of, how to recruit people, how to build a team. Fortunately, in the Philippines, like you said, their biggest export is people. Yeah. So there's a lot of people willing to work.
It's like Mexico, kind of, right?
Yeah, it's like Mexico.
Like Mexico. So everybody's like, we'll do it. We're down, right?
So on the one side, there's a lot of people willing to work.
Okay.
On the I wouldn't say a downside, but the challenge is they may not have the experience that you're exactly looking for, or they may not have been exposed to, like the cuisine or whatever. Yeah. So there's a lot of training and hand holding required. So,
Okay.
So when we hire, there's a big pool.
Okay.
And then it just sometimes takes some work on the training side of things. Yeah.
Like for us here, there's no pool. Like there's no pool. So you go, there's all these websites where it's like recruiting websites, and you pay all these websites money.
Really?
And then once you stop paying, they're like, hey, do you want to renew for another year? And you're like, you didn't even get me one person in the year. You're like, what's going on? So we try to. It's really hard to find people, and it's to the point where it's almost like in Taiwan, like the employees market. Like they, like all the restaurants need people, all the service, hospitality, hotels, everybody needs people. Yeah, and you have to have somebody who's just kind of like emailing and messaging people,
right?
And offer, hey, you want to come for an interview, and like out of 100 people, 90 won't even reply.
Wow.
Out of the 10, I mean, you might get one or two that'll actually show up for the interview. The other ones will just be like, nah.
Yeah. I think you have a bit of that in the Philippines as well.
Really? Okay.
There's a bit of a difference in where we are. So we're not in Manila.
Okay.
So Manila, that pool of talent is much different. We're outside. We're outside of the city. So you do have that where the appetite to work, there's a lot of people wanting to work, but then sometimes depending on what's going on in their life, they may not show up. Oftentimes they don't show up for the interviews, right? But then you still have enough to be able to pick and choose. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but we do get a little bit of that. I think in general, just from
the whole everywhere's like that.
I think it has become an employee market, especially with the whole work from home. Situation, right? And I think that's what the West is struggling with, especially in the service industry.
Yeah, big time.
Where, maybe they're not wanting to go back as a barista or as a server.
Yeah. Because
they got a pretty good online gig.
Yeah.
Right. So
I think also one of the things that it's when I go back to visit, it's like almost like culture shock, is like the tipping system in Canada and the U.S. It's like minimum 15 to like 20%, right?
Yeah.
If the service is absolutely horrendous, it's like 15%. And so for me, it's like, it's weird because we're in this business and then services has been good usually because I haven't been back for a long time. But it's like, it's crazy when you have like bad service and it's like, no, you still have to give 20%. You're like, what? It's a crazy thing because I've been here for 20 years. The last time I had one of my buddies here from the States a couple weeks ago, and he said, talking to me makes him feel like talking to Austin Powers. Like what you think of Canada 20 years ago, that's still what you think Canada's like, and it's totally different, he said, right? So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because in the Philippines, what's normal is establishments charge a service charge.
Yeah, same here, 10%.
10%.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So that's the norm, and then the expectation is, that's the tip because in the Philippines that all goes to the employees.
Yeah, for sure.
But then you still get people tipping.
Yeah.
Right. And,
which is okay too. Yeah.
Which is okay too, but I think we're in a tourist destination, so maybe it's a bit different. But I think the West sort of has the I guess the view that obviously the cost of living and the salaries are lower, so I think they just are more inclined to tip. But we're also in a tourist area. Where So
we're not bashing the West, just saying that's one of the things that I go back and I'm like, whoa, everything. It's crazy. You're like, wow, everything. Which is it is what it is. But it's surprising.
It adds up.
It adds up. You're like, what? Really? But it wasn't good. Yeah. So that's so funny. and after having a restaurant, it's you notice more things, right? You're like, like my wife will, if we go to a new place, she'll immediately go to the bathroom and like see if the bathroom's clean.
Yeah.
It's just like she'll like check the corners in the bathroom. She's like, no, the kitchen must be filthy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm hungry. I just want to eat something, It's
the same. I think my wife will look at the decor.
Yeah.
I look at the kitchen just to see like how it's set up.
Sure.
Like, okay, what kind of equipment they're using.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too, and I'll check everything out. I love that. But same thing. So I'm looking forward to. I'll show you the kitchen after. We'll check it out. Yeah. Like we were saying earlier, it's hard to find ingredients, so we have to make basically everything here, and you have to get creative. We just found tomatillos after 15 years, but what we've been doing is using just like local green tomatoes.
Right.
Is it the same? Not 100%, but like most people are pretty happy with it. So it's you kind of got to adjust, right?
Yeah, I think it's a similar challenge with us. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem using.
I think when we started our first restaurant, the concept was, highlighting local ingredients and making everything from scratch.
I remember. I've been watching you the whole time, bro. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
For sure. Yeah.
And so when we opened the other two restaurants, we try to keep those sort of values across the board.
That's great.
and it's challenging, but I think it's also quite
farm to table type thing, right?
Yeah. But I think also it's when you can't find the ingredient and you have to sort of do it on your own.
Yeah.
I think it also brings a different element of reward, but also like taste,
labor and taste. Yeah.
And sort of it comes out on the plate, I think, and like in Nonie's, our first restaurant, which is our sort of
the flagship.
Healthy,
okay.
Is a healthy concept. So we do a lot of vegan and vegetarian options, even though we do have a lot of meat dishes as well.
Gotcha.
But we do tempeh, which is sort of an Indonesian thing, but it's a fermented soybean cake.
Yeah, those are great. I mean, I've had one. I've had them here. I've definitely look forward to trying yours. Yeah.
And for a while, we were buying the starter, and a lot of times it had to come from Indonesia.
Okay.
Right, but then that wasn't feasible.
No,
and then
for
eventually we found out a way to just make our own starters. So then, completely make it from scratch, and it becomes easier, and it's awesome. And then it's, I guess, harder.
It's normal, right?
Harder to replicate if if someone else is trying to do the same dish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a challenge, but also I think it does show up on the plate once you're able to crack the code on making it yourself or sourcing it where no one else is looking, right?
So cool, man. That's so cool. I love it. So you went. What gave you the idea to so before? Let's go before the restaurant. So before you were in Canada, right? And then you came out to Asia.
Yeah.
For work or for okay.
Yeah. So
and that's okay.
That was the first. Graduated high school.
Okay.
Mount Elizabeth.
And I don't want to say what year I was going.
So my first job was in Manila. Was in the Philippines.
Really?
So,
okay.
The story there was when I was in university. In Vancouver at SFU.
Okay, well, smart guy. I forgot you guys are smart. Yeah. All right, I forgot about that.
I did an easy course.
Okay.
I did an exchange, so I was an exchange student in Manila, in the Philippines, and I born and raised in Canada. I didn't really know too much about the Philippines.
I'm curious about that. Yeah.
So that was, I wanted to do that just to see what that was like, and so that was my first stay for a long period of time in the Philippines. So I was an exchange student. I was there for about 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had a really good time. I really got to know my family, which is a big family.
Big family in the Philippines, right? It's like Mexico. You go there and it's like hundreds of people. Yeah.
So I really liked that aspect, and then I went back to Canada, and then I graduated, and I sort of just had the itch to, travel and maybe just do something different.
Okay.
So then after I graduated, I went straight back to Manila.
Okay.
I traveled around the country for a bit, and then I ended up working in the country. Yeah. So that's sort of where it started. So
the first stop was the Philippines. Was Manila.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. And the idea was that you're going to go back. You've got family there. You want to get back the culture and stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
How did you feel like? For example, when I go back to Mexico, it's a cool feeling, but it's kind of like everyone's like, yeah, well, you're Mexican, but you're not really Mexican, So it's kind of, and also we have Taiwanese people that are born and raised in the States, and they come here. Also, they get the same feeling. So how is it there? Out of curiosity, if you don't mind sharing that.
I think Philippines compared to other Asian countries is a little different in a sense. They're very Western.
Okay.
And there's an aspect of, I would not to talk bad about it, but sometimes in the Philippines there's an aspect of they try to be, not Filipino, right? It's sort of cool, or to be like from somewhere else.
That's like that here too, man.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so when people could tell that I'm not Filipino. First, everyone thinks I look Chinese, which.
Really?
I
Okay.
So I get that
sometimes too, man.
You do.
People are like, oh yeah, you look half white, half Chinese. I'm like, well, you're wrong on both, but it is what it is. Yeah.
So back in the Philippines, I get a lot of people think I'm Chinese, and there's a big Chinese community in the Philippines.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But once I start talking, they could tell I'm not, originally from the Philippines.
Gotcha.
But it's I don't know. It's more like I wouldn't say it's a negative thing over there.
No,
right?
okay.
So it's like, okay, just
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I try to make it a point. I try to speak Filipino or Tagalog as much as I can.
Okay.
Because I think it does change the dynamic of how maybe
For
people
sure.
are, especially if it's work related or business related.
Yeah.
So that's I just try to speak the local language.
No, that's great.
As I can, yeah.
That's good. Did you grow up using that language at home with the family at all, or
no? In Kitimat, no.
No, in Kitimat, yeah.
My parents would speak it, but we would always reply in English.
Yeah. That's similar to us. Yeah.
So we could understand.
Yeah.
But I guess the fact that you could understand it when you start using it, it's fast.
It's big. Yeah.
So
and then coming here, people saying you speak 2 languages, so you'll get Mandarin quick. Neither help.
No.
Mandarin is way, it's crazy, yeah. And then when you're out, you can't even read. So I've been like, it's weird to be illiterate. Yeah, I can speak now. Yeah, I'm fluent now. Yeah, for sure.
Reading and writing.
Reading and writing, no,
Okay.
no. Because if you want to do that, you have to, like, I can read some just from being here, but if you want to, like, be, like, the fluent guy, you got to sit there and do, like, you got to write your characters like a kid. Like, my daughter sits there writing her characters for school.
Okay.
But speaking is okay, but is what it is,
Nice.
Yeah. Let's grab the next one, man. First one, not too bad, right?
Not
just
too
a
bad.
buffalo, basic buffalo, right?
So it gets
the next one is
spicier
chipotle,
then.
right? So grab whatever you want, bro. It's a chipotle, yeah?
Okay.
Jump in on that, bro. Yeah, so dive into that. And so you were talking, obviously you named the restaurant after your mom, right? Mm-hmm. So what was the thought process behind that? What was like, it has to be named after my mom?
That was my wife Shriya's idea, actually.
Really? Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think she just liked the sound.
It's a great
of it.
name for sure. Yeah, it's like a rolls off the tongue. Yeah.
Yeah, she liked the sound of it, and it sort of went with the concept that we had was like Filipino inspired.
Okay.
Home cooking style, making everything from scratch.
Yep.
So, Yeah.
Okay.
Stuck with it.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And now you guys have 3 restaurants,
yes,
which is
that's
pretty
right.
amazing.
Thank
right?
you.
Congrats on that. That's tough. Like I was saying earlier, we did the stand and then 1 and then 2 and then 1 and then 2 and then 1. So it's been good. It's just it's hard to find staff, and then when one leaves, it's tough. We got a great team right now.
Yeah.
We got a mix of, like, right now we have a Filipino, Indonesian, Russian, of course Taiwanese, but it's a pretty good mix.
Wow.
One of the crazy things though is that because it's very different, everyone has their own. They all speak English as a second language.
Yeah.
So there's, they all speak some Chinese. So it's kind of a big. There's a lot of miscommunications, right? Yeah. So it's but it's good. It's been pretty good. Yeah. It's been a cool process. We definitely want to keep going.
Nice.
But I haven't been home for a long time. 5 years, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a long time, man. Yeah. So where's your brother, man? Is he in Vancouver?
My brother's in Vancouver.
Your sister?
They're in Vancouver.
Both in Vancouver?
And my mom and dad too.
And your parents are there?
Everyone's in Vancouver.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you go back, you go to Vancouver.
Yeah.
So no more Kitimat, anything like that?
No more Kitimat, but the trip that's coming up, we're going to go back for a wedding. Yeah,
That's right.
So
Okay.
Michael's wedding. So.
Michael's wedding. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's crazy because when you're in high school, you kind of remember like the age differences of people, like 1 year, 2 years, whatever. And then when you're out, everybody just seems like the same age, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So hopefully your brother's going to come, right? Yeah.
To
the Philippines to do the mariachi gig.
Yeah, hopefully. That's the ideal plan.
Okay.
My sister was just in Boracay in last November.
Okay.
So it's just cool. She got to see the restaurants.
That's awesome. That's the coolest thing, right?
Yeah. And as I mentioned, my brother and sister helped out with one of our restaurants.
That's beautiful. Yeah. That's amazing.
So it was nice for them to see
the family business, man.
Yeah,
that's so
right.
cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And hopefully my brother. I'm not sure when, but I think soon. I think he wants to come soon. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, he hit me up and he said they're kind of planning a trip to come out with the whole crew.
The whole crew, yeah.
So hopefully, they can swing by here. And I said, for sure.
Yeah, ideally. So we're trying to make that happen.
Joe, check the YouTube sound. Yeah, thanks. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. Yeah. Okay, good. So you met your wife in Singapore, you were saying earlier. So tell me a little bit about that. What were you doing in Singapore? Sort of post Manila.
Yeah,
right?
so went back to Canada after Manila, and then I got into recruitment, or specifically executive recruitment, so headhunting,
okay.
Hiring of like vice presidents and CEOs for companies.
Okay.
And we worked at this one international company, American company. They have offices around the world. I was working out of Vancouver, and Shriya at the time was working out of Melbourne in Australia. Shriya was actually transferred to Singapore probably about a year before I was eventually, they transferred me from Vancouver to Singapore. So, yeah.
How was that process? Like, they're like, do you want to go back to Asia? And you're like, hell yeah.
Yeah, actually for me was, for Shreya it was different. I think they just moved her because they needed her there and, and whatnot. For me it was a bit different. I actually resigned. So I resigned because I had plans to go back to the Philippines. Yeah. I felt, I wanted to go back, and I sort of was more, wanting to be. There's a lot of things happening in the Philippines and opportunity-wise.
Asia's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
so it's always opportunities, right? So I resigned from that company, and then in the process of like my notice period, before I was gonna leave, there was they asked me if I would be interested in staying, but then moving to the office in Singapore, because the Singapore office had plans to open an office in Manila.
Okay, cool.
So then I was like, okay, that's sort of a win-win. I could sort of keep it was a pretty good job. Yeah. In terms of pay and experience, whatnot. So so they transferred me to Singapore, and then part of my job was try to do more business in Manila. Okay, that's great. Yeah, eventually it didn't happen. Like, we never ended up opening up an office in Manila, but then at the same time, I met Shreya, and
that's amazing.
Sort of my sort of motivation to go back to Manila just sort of fizzled out, and we were just in Singapore, and
So how long did you spend in Singapore?
I was there for about 3.5 years.
Oh wow, that's quite a long time. Okay.
Shreya was there for almost 5 years, 4.5, 5 years.
Oh wow, okay, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you guys went from there to Manila.
There, they quit the jobs and went to the Philippines. Okay. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Wow, I love it. I love hearing these kind of stories, and it's rare to hear them from Kitimat, right? So that's so cool, man. Yeah. Also, my mom and dad and Kyle still live in Kitimat, sort of Terrace. My sister's in Nanaimo, so we will this time go and spend some time in Nanaimo and then go back. I love it there, man. It's like even when we're spending time in Terrace, I'm like, we gotta go to Kitimat. Why am I in Terrace? You know what I mean? It's weird because although Terrace is nice and it's close, but I also just feel like just walking into the mall, just going into like the what used to be Robin's Donuts, it's like A&W, I think now, right? There, just going everywhere, you just feel like there's always someone walking around, that small town vibe. I love that. I love going back to that, and even just like going to the keg or whatever, just having a beer. I love it. I love it. I love going back to that, and my friends, and I have a lot of buddies living in the village, and we go to the village, and then we get like some smoked salmon. Yeah, it's great, man. I love it.
It's a vibe you can't replicate, right? You can't get it anywhere else.
You can't. Right? It's great. I love it. So, so I'm definitely looking forward to obviously Nanaimo. I went to school in Nanaimo for college. Which was okay.
Malaspina?
It was Malaspina. I think it's Vancouver College or something now.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was good. But definitely, I'm most looking forward to Kitimat for sure. Yeah, just walking around, and I don't know. It's weird. It's hard to explain, but you know how it is, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Walking into the mall,
it's familiar.
Like the mall where that square in the middle of the mall that sells coffee or whatever. You just kind of grab a coffee and you sit there and you just watch everyone. And I don't know. It's weird, but it's cool. I love it. Yeah, I love it. It just brings me back to my childhood. Like what is it, lake camping and stuff like that. That was awesome. Yeah. People talking about, what'd you do in May long weekend and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard that term in like 20 years. It's so cool. Yeah. I love that, man. Yeah.
No, for sure. One thing I love doing when I go back, I've only been back a couple times, but going to River Lodge, going to the gym.
Yeah, River Lodge gym, and the weights are still the same, kind of falling apart. There's like open gym. That's people playing basketball, right? Yeah, that's so cool. It's always somebody there. I love that. Yeah. You go and you get like those little tickets or whatever still, and it's still the same.
It's still the same.
It's like the same tickets, and I love it. I don't know. I love it. It's the coolest thing, man. I love River Lodge for sure.
I know what you mean.
But talk about the restaurant. So you did Nonie's, right? And you just had your 6th year, right? 6th year. Right. I think I got a picture of that actually. Boom. There you go. Bam.
There you go.
That's it. You're turning 6-year anniversary, right? Yeah. Congrats, because restaurant it's tough.
It's tough.
Definitely tough.
It's tough. Yeah.
So congrats on that. So after that you decided to let's try a couple more. right? So what was the process of thinking like, okay, Nonie's is doing well, right? Why not do like another Nonie's and another Nonie's? So what was the process behind doing two completely different brands from Nonie's?
Yeah, so it's a good question. Nonie's, the concept of Nonie's was working.
Yeah.
Right, and 2019 we had a really good year. So actually, just maybe to give everyone some more context,
Sure.
In 2018, so we opened 2017.
Yeah.
In 2018, the island of Boracay closed for 6 months for rehabilitation purposes.
It was big news,
right?
yeah. Okay.
Big news.
Okay.
So they cleaned up the
6
island and all that. So that was like our warm up for COVID, right? So
I was going to say, one of my questions is, you had that, and then you had COVID.
And then we had COVID. So
okay.
That 2018 closure was tough, but like in hindsight was much easier because we knew the island was going to reopen, right? So
Okay, there was like a light at the end of the tunnel. Okay.
Yeah, fortunately we were able to sort of do other work and stay busy to keep things afloat.
And did you kept the place going, or was it kind of closed and paying rent?
2018 we closed it. We have amazing landlords, so there was no rent.
Okay, beautiful.
So we just sort of paused.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so the whole island was on pause. So, and then we reopened sort of towards the end of 2018, and everything came back really fast. So because the rest of the world was still open, so everyone came back to Boracay, and
Boracay is famous for the beaches.
It's famous for the beach. So the tourism came back instantly,
Beautiful.
And then we ended 2018 strong, and then all of 2019 was like a really, really good year.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah.
Great year.
So then we sort of got interest in terms of expansion.
Yeah.
So we were talking to partners and potential investors.
Yep.
And then we had an opportunity to open Nonie's in another tourist destination.
I remember this.
Right.
Yeah.
So this was beginning of 2020. And we were actually in the middle of construction. So we started construction, and we were a go. Everything was set. We got the lease and all that.
Yep.
And then COVID hit.
Okay. Yeah.
So 2020. Actually, we were targeting to open like April 2020.
Okay.
And then I think COVID hit like end of February, mid-March is when everything got announced. So we sort of stopped it at first because we just thought it was going to be a couple weeks, right? So we thought, okay, just hold off a bit.
It's 2 weeks. It's 2
2
weeks.
weeks,
Yeah.
and then obviously it went longer. So then a lot of discussions with the partners we were working with, who were helping us, with the capital to open it up, and then they just decided to sort of cut the losses and pull out. So we completely, unfortunately, canceled that project.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then so we were in Boracay for during the pandemic.
Okay.
And being in the Philippines, and it is a developing country, and when things like that happen, it's difficult. I think
for sure.
It's already a lot of challenges for locals
I
well,
understand.
and we're on a tourist destination, so it was challenging.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we've always had the option to go back home, which a lot of people in that situation they don't have that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So we were thinking, okay, what do we do? We did a sort of went to the drawing board. We sort of did a whole mind map exercise.
Gotcha.
Okay, what do we do? And we actually made the decision to close.
Okay.
So the option was, do we just keep operating? We only had the one restaurant at the time.
Sure.
Right. And so we were actually on our way from our house to the restaurant. At that time, we only had a lot of our staff already went home, so we only had maybe half the staff at the time.
Gotcha.
And then while we were driving to the restaurant, we were like, this doesn't feel right.
Gotcha.
So on the drive there, we decided to stay open. We made last minute change. Like, no, we can't close. Like, this is
It's amazing.
This is our baby.
That's a turning point.
That was
huge.
sort of a revelation.
Okay.
On our scooter.
Yeah. We do scooters. Yeah, I don't have a car. We do scooter here too.
Yeah. So on the scooter, we're like, we can't do this. Doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And so we spoke to our team. We're like, look, we want to stay open, but like we can't. We have to cut back.
Yeah.
And everyone obviously understood the situation.
Sure.
So we kept 5 staff members.
Okay.
And then we stayed open. We have amazing landlords again.
Okay.
So rent was very manageable.
Okay.
So overhead was manageable. And we went through a few phases. At one point, it was only takeout and delivery. I don't know.
We did that here for about 4 months.
Yeah,
3 to 4 months for that. Yeah,
so
dine-in was zero.
Yeah. So we did takeout delivery, and then that's when the Indian food started. So one of our other new restaurants is an Indian restaurant.
Yeah.
But because if you look at Nonie's menu, it's not a takeout friendly menu.
It's tough. I understand
the way we plate things,
the plating and stuff.
And all that. So
yeah.
And we were just experimenting, right? Like we were doing local food, like local Filipino food at one time.
Okay.
And then we were like, why don't we try some Indian food? Indian food's pretty.
And your
curries.
Wife is Indian.
My wife's
right?
Indian.
Yeah. Okay.
It's pretty easy cuisine to share as a family.
Sure. Okay.
It's easy to pack. It's just curries they're fairly transportable. They do well if the next day they taste amazing, right? So
better almost sometimes.
Yeah. Right? So so Shreya started. Actually, it started with Shreya's samosas.
Okay. Love those.
Yeah. So you had these online groups where you'd post food and everyone was ordering from these online groups and whatnot.
Yeah.
So when Shreya posted samosas, we got like a lot of orders. I think it was like 15 dozen. So it was like
wow,
like over 100 samosas that were ordered. So we had to go to the restaurant and get our team to help make these samosas.
Okay.
And then so that's where the whole Indian concept started.
Just thought, wow, people like this. Let's go. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then so when moving forward, the island reopened. We actually kept the Indian menu
on the menu,
right? Mm-hmm. We were able to work with an Indian chef on the island.
Okay.
That was out of work during COVID because he was working at one of the big 5-star hotels
or something.
Right?
Yeah.
So, he helped us. We sort of shared the sales with him.
Yeah.
And then that's how we developed the menu.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how long was this sort of process, like this COVID?
Yeah.
So I think it was 2 years, longer there, right?
2 years. So
it's great.
2020 we started the Indian food.
Okay.
So all of 2020, 2021 we were doing the Indian food out of Nonie's.
Okay.
So even when we reopened the restaurant and tourism, was sort of slowly reopening, we had two menus. We had the Nonie's menu and then the Indian menu.
Okay. And they were both quite popular.
Yeah, and
the
Indian food was sort of it was doing fairly well.
Okay.
And then so that's where we were like, maybe it makes sense to give this a home of its own.
So you have three. You have Nonie's. You have Taj, right?
Yeah, Little Taj,
and then MuChos, right? So Taj was before MuChos.
Taj was before MuChos.
Okay. Oh, I thought it was the other way around. Okay.
Well, you're right. Taj was before MuChos in the sense of the menu was there.
Oh, okay.
But as a physical location, MuChos opened first.
Okay. Because I follow you guys. It's cool. Man.
So MuChos actually opened before Little Taj.
Okay.
But the food of Little Taj was around for longer.
Gotcha.
But to answer your question, so I guess it just happened organically where the expansion in Boracay, which is a fairly small market, like it's a small island, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
it's a small. Okay.
Yeah, so to do multiple Nonies on that island, probably really wouldn't make sense, but it's organically these opportunities for these different concepts sort of came up. We do still want to expand Nonies outside of Boracay.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, but just sort of waiting for the right time, waiting for the right situation to happen.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Let's grab number 3. Yeah. So number 3 is kind of our only like fusion-y one.
Okay.
It's Korean.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So I love Korean wings. What was that?
Chipotle was good.
Was good. Yeah.
You make that. Sauce.
We make that. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
I'll do the wing.
Yeah. Do. Okay. Just grab it.
So you get the peppers and everything available.
For what? Chipotle? Chipotle, you got it canned. It's canned. Yeah. You can only get. Yeah. You can kind of use what you got.
Yeah.
In Taiwan, sort of in the last maybe 5 to maybe 10 years, there are really small chili pepper farms. I mean, we can get habaneros, Carolina Reaper. We can get that. We can get stuff like that. It's not. I mean, it's getting more popular now, but those guys, they love us because when they have like a yield of 5 or 10 kilos, they just call us and like, how much do you want? I'm like, just everything. And then occasionally when we have a little bit extra, we'll put it up on Facebook or something and be like, who wants, a kilo of jalapenos or something? And they're just gone right away because you just can't get them here. So we've been doing it for a long time, and it's hard. You have to be so creative.
Yeah.
And I have to thank my mom actually for that, because being in Canada also that stuff's not available, right? Maybe now, but when I grew up, it wasn't available. But my mom was still able to make all the dishes with the Canadian ingredients, right? Nice. And it's similar to your mom, right? Yeah. Same thing. Like you're still making the real stuff with
Canadian ingredients.
Just Canadian ingredients. It's like magic. You're like, how did you make that with no ingredients? And it's just so that's a similar thing though. That's what we would do. Mom is kind of the secret, I think, behind everybody's success. Moms in their food, when we go back, it's great. I love mom's cooking. I got to get back into shape before I go back, because every time I go back, man, I put on some weight. It's crazy. Big time weight. So
it's all good.
But it is what it is. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Spicy.
It's good. A little bit spicy. Yeah. So I was saying, one of my ex-staff was, his family had a Korean place. And one of their dishes was this wing, right? And I said, you got to teach me. I'll buy the sauce off you. I'll buy the recipe. And he's like, no. He showed me the recipe. And then I tweaked it. I made it a little bit more the way that I wanted it. And then we put it out. And it's a big seller, actually. And the funniest thing was, as soon as I'm like, okay, I nailed it. I want this. Boom, it's on the menu. We printed the menu. That day, we had it was a Wednesday. We do half-price wings on a Wednesday, right? And this group of 6 or 8 Korean guys come in, and there's we do pictures of lager and then half price wings, right? Yeah. So they're like, hell, Mexican restaurants got Korean wings. They're like, we'll take 2 dozen, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm like, oh no, the Korean guys want to order the Korean wings, and I'm like, oh no. So we sent them out, and they liked it. They're like, this is great. This is really nice. They just kept ordering. I'm like, you guys want to try something else? No, we like these. And so they drank a bunch of beer, ate a bunch of wings, and it was like, it's crazy, because I'm not Korean, right? Yeah. So, but I like the wings, man. I like food.
Yeah,
just food, right?
That one's spicy, man.
Yeah, it's getting up there, right?
Yeah.
I'll jump into mine in a sec. So do you have any you were sharing some stories, some victories you had. Your turning point was on the scooter. We're going to go. So from then on, let's maybe just continue with the story. So you're we're going to stay open. We're going to go through this COVID. You already had practice with the beach thing, right? Yeah. With the beach shutdown.
The beach shutdown, yeah.
So when you say beach shutdown quickly, did they just lock down the beach or how was that?
Yeah, they completely
they barricaded it?
Shut down the island. So to get to Boracay, you have to take a boat. So it's not connected by land.
Okay.
So in that sense, it's easy to just close it off.
Okay,
right?
That makes sense. Okay.
So they close it off and they cleaned it up. There was a lot of drainage issues, so they sort of redid a lot of piping.
So you were on that while it was closed?
We were there for a bit, but then it was a lot of construction going on.
Okay.
So and all the businesses were closed. So we stayed in Manila.
That makes sense. Yeah. Because I was like, there's no food, there's nothing coming in.
There's nothing,
right?
Yeah. So we went to Manila for during that period of time. I'm sweating now.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Does your wife eat spicy?
She's
I would imagine,
better
right?
at spicy than I am. That's for sure. Yeah.
Well, she can have mine.
I like it. I just sweat. I just sweat a lot.
Yeah. Cool. So let's keep going on the story. You're like, we're gonna go through this COVID thing.
Yeah.
None of us knew it was unfortunately for you guys it was 2 years, which is crazy. Here, 4 months, we're like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
So you're like, you made the decision. We're gonna keep pushing through, and then what happened?
Kept pushing through. It was an interesting experience because obviously as a business owner and when you're in COVID, I think it's a very different feeling and different experience compared to say you had maybe a job that was still going, right? Especially in the service industry, you were completely closed, right? So I think from that point of view, it was very tough, very demotivating, very stressful.
Mentally crazy too, right? Yeah.
Fortunately, we were on this island that was our own, it was paradise. So no one was on the beach, in terms of COVID rules, I would say relatively it was more relaxed because, you could go swimming.
Okay. Wow.
Right.
Nice.
So you could enjoy nature.
That's cool.
So from that perspective, it was good, and also staying on the island, we got close to the community, right? So a lot of the people, and we got to know a lot of people that we've known for a few years already, but then not really knew them, right? So we really got to know people because we were all just hanging out and sort of helping each other out.
Yeah. We're all on the same boat, right?
Yeah.
Same island, yeah.
So I would say, like, at first very stressful, but then I think overall it was a very positive situation, a very positive experience, where, you know, we got close to a lot of people. But then, I mean, the opportunities started opening up. So I think the plus side of staying on the island was that we got to
see that happen,
we got to see
right?
where the opportunities were.
Yeah.
I mean, sad in a lot of ways because a lot of people lost their businesses, but then once we saw like prime real estate open up, then we sort of had first mover advantage in a sense that we could you know maybe try to go for it. Right. So then that's how we were able to get a place on the beach for MuChos. And then a place in sort of the most busy area on the island, which is called D Mall. It's sort of in the center of the island. It's like an outdoor.
It's a mall.
It's like an outdoor market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
So we got a pretty big space there.
Okay.
Our challenge at the time was, of course, capital. Right.
Sure, it's always that. Yeah, for sure.
So it was all in sort of Nonie's. Everything was going into Nonie's because it was already open and operating, and we had to keep it afloat.
Yeah, even though it's profitable and doing well, you still have to leave the money there. Basically, it's got to keep kind of like It's I know that works.
Yeah, and well, even during COVID, it wasn't profitable.
Yeah, no, it wasn't profitable in COVID. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Our savings were like.
Yeah, exactly. So, but so when we found these, first it started off the real estate opened up. Like
beautiful.
On the beach, and you know everyone wants to be on the beach, right? So that opened up, and then when we pitched for it, you know, we spoke to the landlords and we pitched our concepts, you know, and then you know they were gonna awarding us the place.
Awesome. Yeah.
Then it was just about sort of finding the capital to do it, right? So, you know, I think timing was good. You know, I think everyone was getting over the COVID hump. This was back in 2021, end of 2021.
People were so sick of it all.
So sick
of
it, and the appetite to do to do business, I guess. It was there. So there was interest. You know, we got people to help us, to partner with us. So Little Taj was a few people helping us there, and then. For MuChos, like I said, it was my brother and sister. So
well, actually, your sister, I think it is your sister right now, enjoying this chat, even though it's 4 a.m.
My mom.
Is it your mom?
That's my mom.
I can't see the first name. Okay, I thought it said
Hey,
Christine,
Mom.
Yeah. Hey. Thank you. Thanks for checking it out. Appreciate it. So we're talking. Let's talk a little bit more about MuChos, right? Because we've been talking about the other ones, and I'm super curious about
MuChos.
Yeah, what happened with MuChos? Like, what gave you the idea to be like, let's do Latin American cuisine in the Philippines?
I think for Shri, and again, Shri is the ideas person. So I think we just try to do concepts that we feel don't exist yet, or feel like are not really there. In Boracay, because it's sort of just this new growing market, there's still a lot of cuisines that are not there yet. So we just felt like a Latin American restaurant was still missing at that point in time.
Yeah. That's great.
And because it was my brother and sister, my brother's a lot of Latino influence in his life.
Sure, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And then plays in a mariachi band. And
that's always so cool to see. It's like, what? You have a mariachi band?
Yeah.
He knows more about Mexico than I do, probably. Yeah.
He's married to Fernanda's Brazilian, so there's sort of that influence there.
Yeah.
And also we were also very inspired by a cool Mexican restaurant actually that we used to go to a lot in Singapore. Called Lucha Libre. Lucha Libre. So it was a really cool vibe, and it was sort of a mix of the concept that we felt was lacking, but also the vibe of the place, like a very lively, place.
Beautiful. Yeah. Mexican places are always
sort of that Latino vibe I felt was missing on the island, which was for me was really a beachy type of vibe.
I think I would imagine that would work well because I know, the Filipinos that I know is very similar to the Mexicans, and it's like beach and having a good time and barbecues and
exactly.
So that's what again, I've never been, but the Filipinos that I know very similar to
very
Mexican.
Similar. Yeah, very similar. So we just felt that was lacking. And then the Indian restaurant was sort of a no-brainer. Shriya's Indian, and then at that point there was no Indian restaurant on the island. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then it just made sense.
That's so cool, man. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just sort of like opportunities, and then where's the gap in it, like what's missing. Yeah.
That's really cool, man. I love that. I think you got these opportunities, and they're there, and they're not. Let me say they're not going to be there forever. You just kind of got to jump on them, and exactly. That happened with us when we had our little stand, and then we went to a little restaurant, and then we had the opportunity to take the restaurant that was here, the other one.
Yeah.
It was another restaurant that came up to see us, and they're like, you know what, this would do really well in the area we're at.
Nice.
And we said, yeah, we'd love to be there, but it's like Beverly Hills, basically. It's like, let's set up in Beverly Hills. I'm like, yeah, I can't go there.
Yeah.
It's like you're like, yeah, we can't really afford that area.
Yeah.
And then they said, well, we have a place, and the rent's not bad, and we just, we're retiring. We want to kind of just chill, so come and look at it. So yeah, same thing. We looked at it, and we're like, we can't give you much, and they're like, just give us, whatever you can give us.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, we could do that. So again, we had 2 at the time, and we had like no idea how to run 2. So we closed the smaller one, focused on that one.
Yeah.
Till that one was packed out. We opened this one with an investor at the beginning, a Mexican guy, a Mexican family that was here.
Nice.
They were here working, and they would go to our other restaurant every single evening for dinner.
Wow.
Like it was to the point where you were closing, and they hadn't come yet, and you'd kind of be like looking at them, like, I wonder if these guys are coming. And then you'd see them running down the street. They're like, hold on, we're coming. So it was really cool, and
nice.
Really successful business family.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're like, you know what? This place is pretty full all the time. It was probably half this size.
Yeah.
Maybe half, maybe half or less.
Yeah.
And he's like, let's do another one. So we did one with him.
Yeah.
The first time they asked, we weren't ready, and the second time we're like, you know what? Screw it, let's just try it, right?
Nice.
So we did it. We opened this one. We way overspent on everything. That's why it looks great. It looks great for sure.
It looks awesome.
It looks great. It's exactly what I wanted, but because we had an investor, we're like, let's actually get a pro to do it, because usually it's just me painting.
Right.
Like I'm like, I'll just paint it. I'll just paint it. I'll just move the house TV there, and whatever, right? So we're like, let's get it done professionally. So it turned out great. It was we overspent on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it turned out pretty good. Eventually, they were going back to Mexico. Both places were pretty busy.
Yeah.
But we were just struggling with people, and my wife was kind of like.
Yeah.
She was kind of like losing it, and I'm like, you know what? I know a guy looking for a place in the area. Let me ask him if he wants to take the little one.
Right.
So we kind of gave him the same deal the other guys gave us. He gave him a little bit, and they're still there. They're doing super well.
Nice.
Focused on this one. Guy went back to Mexico. We worked out a deal. So we bought him out. We're paying little payments until it's done, which is good. Yeah.
It's good, yeah.
Now it's ours, and the payment is not so big where it's affecting things too much. So it's been pretty good. And great guy as well. So learned a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
good.
That's important. I mean, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And I think it's really nice, and I think that's the key, right? It's what I think one thing we learned in business, and probably not just the restaurant business, but any business, like even if you look at tech companies, it's
every
like
business
you can't do it on your own. You need the funding, I think,
for
in
sure.
order to scale and do what you really want.
Yeah.
Or it's just gonna take forever if you.
That's the thing. You don't want it to take like generations and like what happens a lot here, probably everywhere, but we see it a lot here. Mom and pop, they open this place, amazing food.
Yeah.
Food's amazing. They're just like, they're running this place. It's packed.
Exactly.
Their whole life, it's packed. The kids go through the system.
Yeah.
And then it comes down to the point where mom and dad are old.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, the kid is either going to keep going.
Yeah.
Or the kid don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, the kid can say, yes, I'll take it. I'll keep the tradition going, blah, blah, blah. I'll carry the torch.
Yeah.
Or what happens most of the time, it seems, the kid is like, I seen you killing yourself my whole life.
I don't want to
There's
do that.
no way in hell I'm doing that, right?
Yeah.
So that happens a lot here, unfortunately. And it's like, and then what happens is close.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to avoid. Obviously,
Sure.
we want to systemize it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And there's different styles, right? Like,
Yeah.
and then that's also another thing I learned. Like, so many different types of restaurants out there. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like we ate at a beef noodle place earlier,
Yeah.
and it's Michelin star,
Yeah.
or whatever, right? And it's just the guy there, and he's just doing
Yeah.
everything, right?
Yeah.
But so that's one style, right? And then
Yeah.
you there's the franchise route if you want to expand quickly, right?
Sure.
Or then you do it on your own, but then you get funding, and you know there's
Yeah.
so many different
It's
ways you
tough.
could do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I think it just depends what your goals are.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Depends how you want to run it. You know, the lifestyle that you want. So
Yeah.
it's really different.
Well, you guys, speaking of lifestyle, you guys are here
Yeah.
for a week in Taipei.
Yeah.
Right. And 3 restaurants are rolling.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, right? That's great.
We'll see when we get back.
No, it's good. That's I mean, that's a huge thing, you know.
Yeah.
For the first few years when we would go back to Canada, we would kind of close or do half days here.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, now when we go back, we just let it go. We've got a great team here, and it's pretty
Exactly.
huge. It's huge.
It's all about the team.
It's really cool when you're back, which is almost never. When I'm back in Canada, you kind of like check the numbers and you just like killed it, and like you're watching a movie with your mom. That's like
Right.
the dream, right?
Yeah,
You're like,
that's
yes,
the
this
dream.
is great.
That's
yeah.
the dream. That's the dream.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not easy.
It's not easy, for
and it's
sure.
never going to be perfect, right?
Never. Yeah, that's a tough thing. Yeah. You got
but-
that. You got that. You want that 100%, but it's impossible
Yeah.
for someone to
Exactly.
like clone you.
Exactly.
Doing what you would do. So.
Yep.
But then I think when you give them the chance, not always, but usually they'll be like they handled it.
Yeah.
Not perfect, but
Exactly.
it was handled. You were doing what you're doing. Like
Yeah.
you're here traveling. So it's pretty cool.
So it all comes down to the team and the you know the systems you put in place.
Yeah.
But,
That was
yeah.
the hardest thing for me because, you know, you get in the beginning you're like you got mom's recipes and you're like I don't want to teach anyone and then eventually you're like holy crap I don't want to do this
Yeah.
every day for the rest of my life.
Exactly, yeah.
And so it's crazy. Yeah.
Nice.
Let's grab that next one, brother.
I'm scared
We're
for this
almost
one.
done. We're almost done.
I'm scared for this one.
So these two are kind of like they switch places and sometimes one's
Yeah.
hotter than the other. This one's jalapeno, but
Okay.
a lot of it. Yeah.
Jalapeno, okay.
So we'll see how it goes.
A
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
of it.
A lot of it. Yeah. So do you have any like ultimate goals for the 3 brands, or do you want to? Do you have like a like best case scenario?
Yeah. I think I don't know. It's a good question. I think that the two new restaurants are new,
Yeah, sure.
so I think we're still in the phase of we're just trying to
Yeah.
make it work. I
Yeah.
think it still needs to prove itself. Even though it's doing well now,
Yeah.
the restaurant game, it's
I know it well.
you need you need consistency, and
Yeah.
it's it could turn around overnight,
Yeah.
right? So I think that I think a lot of our plans and goals are more for Nonies.
Okay.
But being said that, now that we have 3, we're sort of also now going down this direction. Is they're all sort of under one corporation,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so then that's totally a different route. Is like, okay, do we like just build different brands under this corporation, and then like I don't know, and then sort of build it so it's sellable? That's also that's one
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
But I think for Nonies, I think short term, the brand that we want to sort of scale more is Nonies.
Okay. Yeah.
I think in the
The
Philippines,
flagship, right? Yeah.
it's a flagship, but just the concept we feel makes sense. I think it could do more in the Philippines. It's a Filipino sort
It's
of
Filipino
inspired
food,
concept, right? And we're trying to.
How do the Filipinos, like the local Filipinos, like the food?
So the whole thing is one of our taglines is one, eat good, feel good. So it's a healthy concept. We're also trying to change the perception of Filipino food. I think.
Okay.
The perception of Filipino food is it's not the healthiest cuisine.
Gotcha.
And I think there's a lot of ingredients that aren't really being highlighted.
Okay.
Not just in the Philippines itself, which is
Okay.
a bit sad in some ways, but even just globally.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right. So I think it's a concept that we're trying to do more and sort
Awesome.
of expand it and get people to know more about what Filipino food can be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you expand outside,
Yeah, for sure.
Outside of
I
the
mean,
Philippines,
yeah,
if
I
you
think
can? Yeah.
if that opportunity came about,
like a Singapore or something? Like that's kind of the Asia dream spot, right? You put one in Singapore and you're like, yeah, right?
Anywhere. We're sort of like, if there's an opportunity, let's
Jump on
let's
it.
go for it.
You guys are young still, no kids,
no
yet,
kids, no
right?
kids yet, yeah.
Yeah.
we
I
go
know
to
your mom's waiting for the kids for sure. Yeah, she's like, "Where's the kids? Where's the kids?" Yeah.
She knows.
Yeah.
No, but we go to Australia to visit Tria's family, and even when we go to Vancouver, we always know like Nonies could work there. So I think
I know the feeling. Yeah.
I think there's markets where there's a lot of Filipino-Canadians or Filipino-Australians or even non-Filipinos, but
I think just good food translates well.
Just good food,
right?
And I think the concept can work in a Western country.
For sure.
Across Asia too, I think Filipino food in Asia hasn't really made its mark compared to how it's making its mark in North America. At the moment, and even in Australia. I think recently one of the best restaurants in Australia was a Filipino restaurant.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
In the U.S., the most recent Michelin star restaurant was a Filipino restaurant.
Beautiful.
So I think it's gaining momentum in the Western world.
Okay.
So we do think about
jump on that as well. Yeah.
But again.
Nice. Yeah, you got the money as well. The money's tough.
Yeah, that's the hard part. And also just operating we're still trying to figure out how to do more than one in the same town. In the same town. Compared to how do we do that across? I don't know.
It's definitely tough, man. It's definitely tough. Yeah. I think same thing when we travel. We're always looking at other people's menus and stuff like that. And before this location, you never got to see the other ones. Unfortunately, they were very. Like, again, I painted them all myself, but they were like very like bright orange and bright, like really, really Mexican and really like sort of went for that hole in the wall Mexican vibe, right? Which is good, but like local Taiwanese people would be like, they have no idea what that is, what the vibe we're going for.
Yeah.
So it would be very niche, right? And before we took this, we were going to do this place. Again, a friend of mine. Who went back to Canada?
Yeah.
He said let's take a trip to South Korea. And I'm like, what? South Korea? He's like, I want to show you this Mexican place. I'm like, a Mexican place in South Korea?
Yeah.
So we went, and it wasn't like a Mexican place.
Right.
It was like a fusion place.
Okay.
It's called Vatos, and they've got 3 or 4, right? It's called Vatos, right? So I was like, what? So it's called Vatos, right? I believe they have one in Singapore as well.
Okay.
So they're blowing up, right?
Yeah.
Or they were. I haven't followed them in years, but at that time, we went in, and of course I liked our food better, but they had kind of like a vibe in between what we had at that time and this, right?
Okay.
And it was very like lots of craft beer, which we were doing, but I wanted to give it that Western feel, and so theirs was kind of like a Korean/Western vibe.
Okay.
They had what was one of the kimchi carnita fries or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that sounds gross. And it was good. It was really good, right? So yeah, the food was good, everything was good, but the vibe was like that was the vibe I was looking for.
Yeah.
Same thing, like you were saying, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's it, because I want it to be Mexican for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to target Mexicans here because there's like 200. Yeah. So maybe, right? And they're not paying $30 for
Yeah.
And so you're like, So we were trying to. So if you guys have a chance in the next few days, if you want to get Indian food, we can take you to some really nice. Taiwan has really nice Indian restaurants, like high-end Indian restaurants.
Yeah.
Super good. Super good.
Yeah.
And like Indian food is, well, it's not expensive usually, right? It can be done like let's say India, like Mexico. It's cheap.
Cheap. Yeah.
Mexican food in Mexico is super cheap.
Yeah.
Right. So, but here, the restaurants have made Indian food like fine dining.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so they've put Indian food on this level of like fine dining in Taiwan.
Right.
And it's super good, and all the Indian places are busy. They're very busy, and they're good. They're very good. So I'm not looking for fine dining. I don't want to do fine dining for myself, but I want something kind of in the middle,
right?
Where you can kind of compete with like the bigger guys.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to compete with the Mexican guys, the taco stand guys. Like I want to be kind of like a Fridays Eat Chili's sort of a thing in the middle. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not trying to go fine dine, and I'm not trying to squish taco stand guy. Like that's not what I'm trying to do. I want to do something in the middle, elevate it a little bit. Yeah, and that's what we try to do with this one. So far it's been going pretty good. One of my buddies, I got one of my Indian buddies like Indian. Yes, for sure. Coming here, it's one of my favorites, man. I love Indian. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's so good.
One of my favorites.
I never really tried it before I came to Taiwan, and then we tried some of these high-end places, and I was like, Indian food's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. It's probably top 2 for me. Yeah, it's up there.
Same here.
It's amazing.
Just the flavors.
So good. It's just so much, and it's kind of similar where you got like the bread, the naan, the tortillas, everything's kind of similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. I love it. I love it. You okay? Yeah.
I'm sweating.
Let's go through the pictures before we get the last one, yeah?
Sure.
So let me just pop a picture up here. Bam.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a good picture. That's you guys, right? I went through some of your social stuff and pushed. That's such a good picture. Yeah. So what's this is I guess the beginning probably. Do you remember?
This is probably closer. No, we got the mural painting there on the side. So yeah, this is maybe 2019.
Okay.
Say. Yeah.
Things are going well, right? And you're like, yeah, we're gonna keep rolling on the Nonies, right? Beautiful. Let's keep going. Bam! You got some Traveler's Choice 2022.
Yeah.
What's this about, man?
That's TripAdvisor.
TripAdvisor, yeah.
I don't know if
sure.
TripAdvisor's used much here.
It used to be.
Yeah,
it used to be, and now I don't know what happened to it.
Now it's just Google.
It's Google. Yeah. Google is taking over the
same
world.
as in Boracay. So it used to be a lot of TripAdvisor. A lot of tourists would go to TripAdvisor, but now I think everyone's just using Google. Yeah. Most of the reviews we get now is through Google.
Yeah. So. Funny thing about TripAdvisor was it was blowing up for a while here, and all the people that used it here are people that loved us.
Yeah.
So we were 5-star.
Yeah.
We were the #1 restaurant in Taipei or Taiwan for a few months. Like I have a snapshot of it somewhere, like above the Din Tai Fungs and all the fancy Indian places. And I'm like, why are we? This is crazy, right? But because it was all 5 stars, right?
Yeah.
But what that did was that brought us a lot of like super snobby food snobs, and they just blasted us. So it was just like, I don't know if we're top 100, but it was crazy. But then, it was crazy. There was one point in time where we were the #1, and then
that's awesome.
Which was shocking because I was like, really? Man,
yeah.
We didn't even have this when we had the other little one. It was crazy. But I haven't looked at TripAdvisor in a long time. It's crazy.
Awesome. Yeah. Me neither. We haven't really paid much attention to it, but.
What do we got here? We got some more food.
The
food looks fantastic.
That's Nonie. So we got sort of on the black plate there.
Yeah.
There's a dish in the Philippines called sisig.
Okay.
And basically, the traditional sisig is basically they take the face of the pork.
Okay.
Of the pig.
Okay. Nice.
And then they chop it up.
Okay, like the cheeks and stuff.
The cheeks,
it's really
the
soft,
nose,
right?
The ears. Yeah, they chop it up and they put a bunch of
beautiful
spices and all
nice.
that. So that's a vegan version.
Oh,
so sort of the flavor is similar, but then it's just basically mostly mushroom and tofu.
Okay. Yeah. There's a vegan chef that I know who makes like, what's it called? It's out of like flour. It's called seitan. Have you ever heard of that? And he makes like the craziest sausages and stuff out of it. And it's super good. It's crazy. It's crazy how that stuff works, man. Yeah. Unbelievable. Got to get the in-laws and the family in there, right?
Yeah,
that was a trip back to Australia, or?
That one. I'm just trying to see who's in that picture. No, that was when Shreya's parents came to the Philippines. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's in Boracay.
How did they like it?
They liked it. So that was their second time going. The first time they went to Boracay was when we just got married, and we didn't have the restaurant yet. Okay. So that was the first trip they came when the restaurant was open.
Okay.
So,
beautiful.
Yeah.
They look very happy. Couple more.
Yeah,
that's the 6th. We did that one already, right? Oops. Sorry about that.
All right, so this is still Nonies as well. So that's our strawberry cashew cake.
That's awesome. It's like a gluten-free
so it's
sort
like
of
a
dessert.
gluten-free. So we make a cashew flour.
Okay.
Cashews are very abundant in the Philippines. So we try to highlight that.
Oh, okay.
And then strawberries too grow in the northern part of the Philippines.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then coconut cream.
Coconut. Ooh, that looks great, man. I love that. I always see this one pop up on your posts. Like this looks great. Yeah.
So this was one of Shreya's ideas. So this was in Australia, back in when we opened in 2017. Smoothie bowls were sort of the thing in Australia. So that just made instant sense for the beach. So it's basically a smoothie, but in a bowl.
Okay, cool.
So that's a
quick question up there. Well, what's the meaning behind the Nonies logo? I mean, that's. Behind Nonies.
The logo.
The logo, yeah. I don't know. We have a question.
Oh, sorry. I just saw that. Yeah, so again, the Nonies is the name of my mom. My mom's nickname.
Yeah.
My mom's nickname.
Yeah.
And then, we just threw a mango in there because that's sort of what
tropical
ingredient. Right? Well, Philippines is famous for mangoes.
Mangoes,
So I would say we have the best mangoes in the world.
Okay.
In terms of,
even here, the 7-Elevens have a dried mangoes,
the dried
all
mangoes
from the Philippines. Those are great.
That's
I
right.
love those.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Couple more. We got some tacos.
Yeah. So this is this is MuChos.
Yeah.
Would need you to try the tacos just to get your feedback.
Sure, for sure. Definitely. Well, I mean, I'm worried that mine are sitting there and then you're going to try them and you're like, they're not that good. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's actually our cauliflower taco.
Oh, we do cauliflower wings, man. They're so popular,
ordered
dude.
some there.
Oh, did you order some? Oh, you did. Yeah.
So, sort of keeping with the Nonies theme, in all our restaurants we try to have a decent amount of vegan, vegetarian items.
For sure. Yeah. People appreciate that.
Yeah. So this is a vegan taco. So the mayo, there's a soy mayo, so there's no dairy.
Nice.
And we use Cholula.
Cholula,
sauce.
Okay.
We do have salsa and hot sauces that we make.
Yep.
But just as our side condiment, we just give
cool.
Cholula on the side.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. 2 more. I love this one.
Yeah. Okay. So
this is really cool. That looks beautiful. The brand on the wood.
Yeah. And
beautiful.
then thank you. And so what we're trying to do with MuChos is really be known for our tequila and mezcal. So I think we're the only tequila mezcal bar.
Beautiful. Okay.
On the island.
And people liking it so far?
Yeah, people liking it.
Is those red pepper flakes? What is that there? Is that
so that's like a chili salt that we make.
Oh, okay,
so
okay. Like a tahini type thing?
A little tahini,
okay.
some lime salt and some chili in there.
Okay.
So we mix that up.
Beautiful.
And then, sort of serving it,
I might steal that.
sipping. Yeah, go for it. Sort of serving it sipping style.
Good tequilas. Yeah.
Sort of chilled. And then it's on a card, so on the back of the card we have sort of tasting notes of the tequila.
Nice. Wow, beautiful. Yeah. I'm definitely going to steal that.
Yeah.
last one, brother.
Yeah, so Little Taj. So this is the newest sort of restaurant that opened. Try to make the vibe a little street style.
Yeah, awesome.
So we're in this little alleyway.
Okay.
So sort of wanted to make it like really eye-catching when you walk by.
Awesome.
And so there's like Indian art on the walls.
I love it.
This was actually our opening night. Yeah, so a lot of locals coming through, and so a lot of those are sort of residents that live on the island. This was during sort of still pandemic when it was mainly only domestic tourism.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Beautiful, man. I can't wait to go. We're definitely gonna. My brother, he wants to come up this year, so definitely. He said, come hang out here, go visit you. So
Quick
that'll
flight,
be great.
yeah,
That'd be great. Yeah. I didn't know there was a direct flight. That's even better.
Direct flight.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you guys order? Because I want to make sure before. Did they order?
Yeah,
Did they order food? Yeah. Just want to make sure. Okay. Yeah, we'll order one more thing. So we go. Yeah. So yeah, man. I don't know. I want to thank you for coming out. And we didn't even try the last one. You want to take a nibble of that bad boy, or what do you think?
Which one's this, habanero?
It's actually more. No, it's Carolina Reaper. Actually, yeah. It's okay. Yeah, I mean, I can save one for your wife, and you can do one if you want. Yeah, if you want to try that, or if you want to do that, you want to have her over, a pinch hit for you, whatever you want. Yeah.
That's a Shreya, you want to
try?
Carolina Reaper?
Yeah, come and try it. Yeah, we make that. So there's a small farm that comes and not comes, but they grow these. Yeah. So
That's
you come
awesome.
Say hi. Yeah. Hi. How are you? Yeah. So these are for you guys. You guys go. You guys go for it, man. If you guys want to do that. Yes, but for yourself, is there anything that you want to mention before we cut it and go have a drink or something?
Oh man, no, just thanks for having me. I've been telling Shreya, like, we've been wanting to come to Taiwan. I keep telling her, all my friends got a Mexican restaurant there, so glad we can finally come and visit. And
it's hot, right? Yeah.
No, it's just good to see you're doing well.
Thanks, man. I appreciate. Well, I'm happy that you guys are. You guys are lapping us, man. You got 3. That's fantastic. I love it. Congrats on that. That's really cool.
No, thank you. But no, I mean, I think just surviving the pandemic in general, good accomplishment already. So
yeah, for sure. We were a little bit luckier here because they did well during that. The whole mask thing, all that was a little bit was good.
Yeah.
But as you can tell, everyone's really cautious. They still doing masks here. Most people, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah. So thank you guys, Kitimat Proud. There you go. You guys are amazing. live your best lives. We are trying. We appreciate it. Yes. I'm super stoked to have you because usually people here, they will ask, you're from Canada. I'm like, yeah. They're like, where? I'm like, well, Kitimat.
Yeah.
And they're just like, where's that? I'm like, well, it's kind of, on the BC side. They're like, oh, so Vancouver. I'm like, well, not Vancouver. It's way north of that. And they'll be like, Toronto? And I'm like, no, not Toronto. Joe, can you get another horchata for him? Yeah. And it's always like it's either Toronto or Vancouver. Yeah. And I'm like, no, it's So, Kitimat, BC, man. I can't wait to go back. Very excited this summer. That's the plan.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys for watching. Got anything you want to say, my man?
No, thank you.
All right, brother.
Thanks for having me, man.
Get some more horchata in you, man.
My first podcast.
Thanks, brother. People are always like, oh, what are we going to talk about?
Yeah.
How can we talk for an hour? It's been like an hour and a half, dude.
Oh,
Time flies,
really?
dude. Yeah.
Man.
Time flies, brother. It's great. No, it's good.
Perfect.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.